Welcome, travelers, to another fantasy collectors chat at Phantasmal. I'm your host, Calvin Seymour. Going to be covering a very special painting tonight. As you can tell, I have it sitting right next to me. It's a beautiful, beautiful commission I had done by Raoul Vitale. Now, I know many of you know Raoul's works. They're some of the most beautiful that magic has to offer. He does other things other than magic, but obviously he's made quite the name for himself there. His trademark greenery is something I had to absolutely have in a painting. I was really excited, to kind of dream something up that would match that. And so, while I was doing that, I had to kind of figure out something that I'd like, and I actually ended up giving Raoul three choices. So one that had no greenery in it whatsoever, but I wanted to recreate the Errol Otis box cover to the basic set. And so that's still something I want to get done at some point in time, because I've got an idea where I will recreate several iconic pieces of art, usually the black and white stuff though, from Dungeons and Dragons, that maybe could be giving me kind of a modern take or a different approach. I've often thought things like the Palace of the Silver Princess has a decampus, which is like this big vegetable creature on it, and I was like, it's the Palace of Silver Princess, and there are other interpretations of what that cover could have been. And so I've got an idea to do things like that. And one of the options was that. But it's in a dark cavern. I don't know if you know the piece I'm talking about, but we've got the spear, and the warrior with the spear and the sorceress, and there's this like dragon climbing out of the waters. And what really made me think it'd be interesting to have Raoul do that. Was a particular painting he did. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but I could show it to you. Let me switch over really quick. Let's see if we can. Yeah, here it is. So when I saw this beastie come out and I was looking at that, I was like, I think Errol Otis has this crazy fantastic style that I just love. Matter of fact, he's one of my all-time favorite artists. I just something about what he did is so unique. And so I wouldn't want, it's not like I'm trying to create an idea that it's that art wasn't good enough, because trust me, it is. It's iconic to me. I just want to kind of just see what someone else could do. And when I saw the dragon, started thinking about the dragon coming out of the water, I was like, wow, Raoul could do that really well. And at the time, another friend of mine was having a commission done with him, and I was getting little teaser images, and it was actually kind of a similar scene. I'll see if I can find that really quick. I think I can. Okay, so Ryan Metzger was having this piece done, which kind of has a similar setting to the D&D cover. And I guess while I'm at it, I'll just find that cover in case you haven't seen it. See if I can get a better picture. That's not a real clear. Let's go. Okay, yeah. So, this classic cover, and if you start looking at what I was seeing, this kind of background and lighting, and then because the other thing I love about Raoul's work, just beyond the greenery, is the glows and the fires. He does a lot of these little campfire scenes or moonlight scenes. And in fact, my initial description of what I wanted was a moonlight scene of these two playing, having this moment together. But about a third of the way in, I guess, before, while we were still in the sketching stage, my wife and I were having conversations about it, and she made me really realize, I was like, I would kick myself if I don't get that traditional Raoul Vitale color, the beautiful colors. So that's what I went with. Even though I had a strong idea that I wanted to do, kind of remake that basic cover. I gave him another option, which was a character of mine, which is a wizard from some D&D games I play. He's kind of a rainbow wizard. Matter of fact, I think there's a class or something called an Initiate of the Sevenfold Veil, and it's talking about the prismatic colors, and so it's a very colorful thing. And I thought, you don't have to look much. You don't have to look at a lot of Raoul's work to realize how great he would be doing anything that kind of had a rainbow spectrum in it. And his color work's amazing, and these pieces are just also beautiful that he draws on. And I thought, that would be a great thing to have my wizard recharging his staff in this like magic waterfall, kind of a classic fantasy theme or trope, and kind of have that waterfall producing a rainbow. Yeah, and my wife is on here ruining my chat, as you can see. But anyway, so those were my main ideas. But the third one I gave him was, hey, have you heard of Name of the Wind? Name of the Wind is not a recent book, but it's fairly recent in terms of gaining real momentum. I think the author Patrick Rothfuss recently, he recently inked a deal to do multiple movies, video games, and a TV show all at the same time. So someone's planning on building a franchise around it. Well, I really, 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 really thought that wouldn't be the one he'd go with, but then, I think he liked the idea of doing the musician. I don't know, I could be wrong there. So Raoul also was going to join us tonight, but he sent me a message just before the show saying that he was having technical difficulties and he was definitely going to be watching, but he's not sure if he could get an account that he could chat with. So he may or may not make it for that. But anyway, that was it. I gave those three choices, and it morphed into a very, very beautiful painting. Now, let me pull up. Gonna add the image real quick. My mouse is really doing weird stuff all of a sudden. All right. Let's see if I can add this in. How's everybody doing out there tonight? Oh, yes, it is gorgeous. Thank you, Steph. You think I can let this one out of my dungeon here? Okay, I'm going to bring this in. It's really, really big, so I'm going to have to shrink it up really quick. I really just wanted to get a good look at this thing. I know you can't see it as great live over here, though I will try to give you a better look at it too there. So, it's just gorgeous. You see I've got everything I ever wanted out of a Raoul painting in this. I've got pops of color. He somehow inadvertently picked my wife's favorite color flower. That helps. Matter of fact, I got to talk about the process here. I've really never interacted less with an artist when doing the commission. But it was like he'd read your mind. In fact, he produced the exact perfect image just from a one-pass description. And the only issue I had at all with it was that I think he didn't really know the subject matter as well, and he had Dinah here dressed as plainly as he kind of had Kavoth. And well, Kavoth, obviously, his journey in the story is, young kid in a traveling circus that learns, to play musicians, the band instruments and play and dance and whatever. And then, things happen, and the next part of his life, he's a street urchin, barely living. He's thieving to stay alive. And, he's always portrayed as kind of having a more simple garb, but she is very fancy, and so I asked him if he could create more like a kind of a high class riding outfit. Well, that turned out to be one of the best parts of the painting. I think you see all this greenery, and you see the mushrooms and the flowers, but the one thing you really notice is this vest and these gloves, and they're very simple changes, but and honestly, how much green can you go? I'm actually surprised he made her vest green, but it's perfect. All the little designs, they're just gorgeous. I love if you look at this cloth, it's so realistic looking. My favorite, though, he just nailed Kavoth. First drawing, I saw one drawing and I was like, yeah, that's it, don't touch a thing. And so it's just amazing. Look at that. What kills me is I show him about 100 images that are out there on the web and said, hey, this is how he's been depicted here and there and whatever. And it was like, I knew what I wanted in my head, but how do you communicate that? Well, I did my best, and I just thought it would be a nightmare, but it was just perfect. That's how I kind of see Kavoth. Really, he's in the story. It's really interesting the way the story is done, because they actually kind of Tarantino things a little bit, because the story starts off in a tavern, and it's like he's trained himself to forget who he was so that he can hide better, and he gets recognized by this chronicler, and the chronicler starts prying these stories out of him. And it's like, as the stories come out of him, it's like only then does he remember it. And every time he tells one, he comes a little more alive. It's a fantastic story. It's not everyone's cup of tea. I kind of think it's a little Harry Potter-ish, which, yeah, obviously it's not Harry Potter, but he's got the wizard school stuff going on in it. But it's like Fritz Lieber wrote it. It's kind of got this chaotic loveliness about it, and the characters never do what you expect, and that's not necessarily a good thing. Personally, to me, I want some fulfillment, but it's like, Rothfuss is sitting there with the old fishing lines, like, oh, you almost had it. And then he rips it away from you. So, anyway, I don't know. I looked around on the web, and I found a few Raoul paintings that are out there. I'll show those in a moment. They're not a lot, and it's not surprising. If you go to Raoul's site, he claims to have been raised in the rainforest of Ohio by pygmy wolves. So I don't know how serious you take him, but in the end, he also says that he's, it sounds like he doesn't really think of himself as a fast-moving artist. So I don't know how true that is. But I think it's really cool that you can approach someone like him who's really has just world-class skills, and you can have a painting commissioned or whatever you want, And now he does prioritize his Magic the Gathering work. He gets a commission, then your stuff goes on the shelf for a little while. But I think that just gives him more time to do it. It's a little bit more, even though it's still a commission that someone's asking him to do, he's got a little more free reign on the art direction or whatever himself. Really, he can just do more, and he can savor it, and he can think about it. He can put it away for a little while, and he can come back, and he can, drink a cup of coffee in the morning and stare at it and figure it out. Speaking of staring at it, I have a lot of paintings that I've been building up over the years, and this one is just so gorgeous that I keep finding myself when I scan the room and I see it, it blows my mind because it just stops you. It's stunningly beautiful. I've always wanted Raoul, and I'm really, really happy I finally got one. It's been a big goal of mine. It's been, it's just been a good experience. I'd reach out to Raoul Vitale. You can go to raoulvitaleart.com, and he's got a little section there, I think, for contacting him, and it shows all of his private commissions. As you can see, he's got them segmented, and we can look at a few of these. This painting, my goodness, where do you start? I need to switch over, Donna. Hold on, let me hide this. Yeah, okay. So this painting is just so drop dead gorgeous. Obviously, it's depicting the journey of the elves in Lord of the Rings. Look at the horse and I wonder who owns this one, because that's a beautiful painting. And we have some more Lord of the Rings. They're all great. A lot of little hobbits. Galadriel. This is what I was saying about the lighting effects combined. All very beautiful. And look, he puts the water in. One thing I love about my painting, by the way, the name of this painting, I named it By the Waystone. Let's see. So in Name of the Wind, you have these giant waystones, and they're actually like portals, fey portals or whatever. And I think that's kind of a common lore thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you go to like Scotland or Ireland, it's probably something rooted in lore there. But that is part of the books, and they make great rest stops along the way. And while this scene may or may not have actually happened in the books, it certainly could have. So that's what I like about it. I originally was thinking of doing a tower, like a Rapunzel playing to the tower thing, because it was actually influenced also by a miniature. I forgot to mention that, and I don't know that I have that to show handy, but I can look for it in a second. But after I realized, I was like, there's no tower scene in the books. It really was a showstopper for me. I had to rethink it. And then, of course, we're still waiting on the third book in this series, and it's all about the doors of stone. And I just said, I think they should be playing by a waystone. They're traveling. They have a stop and a little rest. And I wanted a really quiet moment. Like, if you know anything about their relationships, it's very... it's like if there are anti-heroes, well, this is the anti-relationship. I can't explain it to you. They're both together but apart. And that's how it comes across to me anyway. And you never get a lot of fulfillment, and at least not so far in the first two books, out of their relationship. But yet they're happy with their time together, and that's what I wanted to show. Just a peaceful moment. Caveau sitting here playing, and the leaves magically coming in because he knows the name of the wind. If you know the name of the wind, you can command it, right? So such a beautiful painting. So let's take a look and see which paintings are out there. And this is what I usually do on the channel. If this is your first time tuning in, hi, feel free to say something in chat. If you're shy and you don't like real-time chat, you can always just leave comments for me on the video after it posts. And always happy to hear from new people that love fantasy art, imaginative realism, and the whole spectrum of science fiction and horror. Basically anything that's not mundane, I find a lot of different styles are out there. I mean, endless numbers of styles. And there's really dark art and there's really happy art. And I like every part of it for what it is. But let's take a look here. So one that's for sale, and I actually showed two of these very recently. But since this show came around and it's all about Raoul, I thought I'd show them again. In Fainthorn Forest, Tolkien's Treebeard. This is a great one. You can see a couple of hobbits sharing a little pipe, and we know so that's about to be a little rude awakening for them. It's for $3,800 plus shipping. You can find it on Comic Art Fans. Amr the Lion, a very well-known art collector, easy to get reach through this, and well-known, so good, safe transaction. But this one's $3,800 plus shipping. He says he will work with you. Time payments are accepted. So this is a great one. It's 16 by 24. I didn't forget what we made this one. I'll see really quick. So this is 24 by 18. So yeah, similar, maybe a little smaller than this one. Very beautiful. And this next one, is you get a bunch of griffins mounted, ready for the charge. I like this one too. Now I was reading Raoul likes to do creatures, so if you want to do some commissions with him and you want a creature done, then he's gonna love that. I do a little writing on the side, little stuff from my fantasy worlds, and I do have a thing that deals with like a order of Griffin Riders, so this makes me think of that, so I kind of like it a lot. This one's 3,300, same size. It's published in Affected by Art. And they both have been published. That's great. I have a feeling if Patrick Rothfuss sees this, this might get published, because I know the very first book cover done of Name of the Wind, for the first novel was by Donato Giancola, and the cover. Let me see if I can find that really quick. Alright, so this was the original cover, and we get the rush of leaves. That's kind of part of the stick, and we've got the trademark red hair and blue eyes. So this is a great look for him, but also I think if you read up on this, Donato really isn't proud of this work, and he's been quoted as saying that if he had known the character, I think, a little better, this would have been very different. So, but I mean, it's a significant piece of art because it's a significant book. I mean, This was on Donato's website for a while too. I don't know if someone finally bought it or if Donato tucked it away. I don't know, maybe someone's been to his studio who's seen it. But it's probably going to be a significant painting whether Donato loves it or not because of the book it was on. I mean, this is the first edition, first cover for probably one of the more popular books in the past 10 years. I see, however, that he took another stab at it, it looks like. I didn't realize that. So that's a very pretty piece too. But beyond that, well, you know, there's also a series like dark drawings, or they might be black and white paintings. I'm not really sure that were put out, and those were put out by Dan Dos Santos. Let's take a look at those. Let's see. He had a special website for it. Let me see if I can find that. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, so they did a collection of 21 original paintings created for the 10th anniversary edition of Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss. So these are great. You can see several different depictions of the characters. You know, this one's great. Here we've got a street urchin Caboth hugging his guitar. And this is a great picture of Dana. See, she dresses fancy. A lot of these I think are still available, or they were last time I looked. They were quite expensive though, so be prepared. But you know, they're good versions. So you've got those two Donato Giancolos, and you've got these Dan Dos Santos. I really don't know many other, you know, say the top 100 artists that have even tackled this book. And in my opinion, this is the best Name of the Wind painting there is. That's my personal opinion. I am certainly more than likely biased, but I mean, we just have to say this is just gorgeous. We're gonna now, one thing I did not think I would ever have to do was get lighting skills, but that is what's going on here. So you guys will have to bear with me. I think, you know, Raoul, you nailed that. You nailed it. You flat out did. I think if Patrick Rothfuss sees this is going to end up on a book cover. I could be wrong. Maybe he won't like, you know, the fact that it's not an actual scene. I don't know, but it's amazing. So let's get back on, and we'll continue to browse a little bit on the ones that I found that are actually purchasable out there. So here you can see this one isn't technically available to purchase. This sold in 2016 on Heritage Auctions. However, certain sellers will have this green button, and that green button means they're kind of a partner, or they're always willing to listen to offers that Heritage brings to them. You'll also see a button. It'll be a different color. I believe it's kind of like an orangish color whenever they have the ability to contact the owner, but they have not yet confirmed that the owner is willing or wants to be contacted. So this guy actually is willing and wants to by the definition of the button type. So I thought I'd include it. Now, they want you to make a minimum offer of quite hefty amount. That's a lot more than the other two paintings. So you better really love Robin Hood. But now in this one in particular, you can see Raoul's Hildebrandt influences. That's one thing I love about Raoul is like the Hildebrandts, they created this color palette that is just infused in many different ways in all their paintings. And I feel like Raoul carries the torch on that some, like he's got his own spin. He did a lot of biblical work, and really kind of that's what he leaned on in those works. And so this one has a little bit of that era and that feeling. I don't know when it was done. But you can see, like, if you go to his commercial work, he has all of these kind of fairy realm. Yeah, okay. So, earlier I was talking about him doing my wizard with the rainbow, recharging the magic staff at the waterfall, this unicorn. I mean, it's the kind of artist you'd want to do that sort of thing. I recently saw a friend has this painting. I'm very jelly. That's awesome. Got a night moon, some awesome wolves. I think it's one of the goddesses. I forget the name of it. I don't see the name of it. I could just look at his art all day. This was a recent magic card he did. Look how beautiful that is. This is really why I decided I had to have the greenery in my paintings. I just had to. As much as I love his night scenes, that'll have to be painting number 2. Kitties. Okay, so Raoul also recently set the world afire with a bunch of kitty cats. Everyone loves his kitty cats. So the only other painting that I found for sale, and you guys have to brace yourself for this one because it's got a price tag. But, Raoul kind of has made a name for himself doing the moxes and things in Magic the Gathering, which are these jewels, these magic jewels. And I think any piece like that he does is just probably going to have a little bit of a tag on it, but this has quite the tag. This is Aether Vial, and it's on eBay, and the price tag on it is $60,000. I don't know what the record sale is for a Vitale, but that's an impressive price tag. That's an impressive piece of work, though. Maybe zoom function there. No, let's see. Let's see if we can get a little better look at this. So we've got a rhino and a reverse saber tooth. So you've got tusks coming up. It's the bottom lip. It's interesting. A monkey and a camel. If I can. No, that won't let me go any further. This reminds me of like a carousel almost when I look at it. Interesting. I tried to enhance, man, and I try to enhance it, but that's the best I can do. I don't know. Can you I mean, when I zoom, I use this little zoom tool that I found. It works okay, but it wouldn't let me move it down to show you the rest. Stop with your enhancement. I can only do these requests with a little bit of time ahead to find the proper tools. Anyway, this one is not what I paid. So that's another reason, honestly, to go get a commission. There are lots of things that, that you can buy, but you can buy a lot with these commissions a lot cheaper. Number one, they're not published. Now, I don't own the rights to this. Raoul does. Raoul might find someone that wants to publish that. And if he does, that's great for me. It's great for him. He gets paid again for the publishing rights. And, if it gets published, it only potentially enhances the value of the painting I own. So it's a win-win for everyone. But if you go and try to buy published works, well, you're going to pay more. And the more demand that is, the more in demand that is, the more it's going to cost. Like, size matters in paintings until it's published, and then it's really more about the nostalgia. It's like a X factor that can double or triple the value of something really easily in the art world. That's why you'll see the magic paintings. I think, don't hold me to this. I'm not a walking encyclopedia, but I do believe his last painting hit like $18,000. It was, his nice magic card. That's a lot for you to just go out and buy a painting one day for, but you can get commission done like this extremely reasonable. Like, depending on what size you want or what you want to do, anywhere from like probably a couple grand to like, or like a ginormous one might be, pushing 10 grand or something. But in general, you're going to be more like in the 3 to 6K range, no matter who you're dealing with. If it's something they can do casually on the side, if they have room in their schedule. Every artist is different. Every artist has their different prices, but they're usually quite a bit more affordable. Now, you do run the risk of getting a painting you don't love. You don't get to see it before you buy it when you do a commission. So that's the risk, but it's also a lot of the excitement. Like, you get a hand in creating it. Like, I didn't paint one piece of this painting. However, he did paint what was in my head. I mean, literally, the first time he drew it, he drew it exactly. It just blew my mind. First drawing I saw. I know I've said that a lot tonight, but it's honest. Like, really, I've never seen such intuition in someone. I was a little worried because he doesn't really interact with you as much as a lot of artists do. I mean, he's a busy guy. He's got schedules. And so I felt like I was getting shorter bursts, and I would worry about it because then it'd be a little bit, but then when you come back and you're just nailing it, right? I mean, whatever works, whatever works, man. That definitely worked out in spades here. I really can't wait to get to frame this one. I would already have done it. Probably already would have gone out and started the frame hunt, but I want to take my time, so I probably want to do it on the weekend. So I do believe that is it for tonight. This is probably going to be one of my shorter shows. Yeah, I see. Yeah, you want free shipping. Sorry, I don't always pay attention to chat when I get to thinking about some of these things, so I can be late. I don't know what you're talking about there, but yes, get insurance if you're going to ship a expensive painting. That's advisable. I would advise that. Anyway, I do think this is going to be it for tonight. If anyone has any questions. Oh, what color? It's. I don't usually use a matte. I like to use, just a nice frame. Sometime I'll stack frames and do like a smaller inner frame. I like that, or do a fillet the little metal edge that they can put around it. But I have, I like the little soft purples in here. And so I was thinking maybe that it might get a little matte and then like a very natural frame. So like a little thin amount of purple. What do you think? Let me bring the image back up really quick too. You can kind of. So Daniel, I know you've been talking about doing a dragon painting for a while. You put any more thought into that? Yeah, I'm not going to go green. I'm thinking like a possible a little lilac matte and a natural frame like wood. But I might put a touch of gold, like maybe a gold fillet and then some wood. And we can definitely find you an artist to do that. And really, you can get, it just depends on who the artist is. There's some very good artists out there right now with good commission rates where, something like this might only cost you, $1,500, which is not bad considering the amount of work that goes into these. It may be even a little less, it just depends on who it is. But the real thing is to find the right style. So best way to go about that would be to look at a few artists first. Talk about, if you can tell me the subject matter, I can find you an artist that I know does that. And if I can get a good sense for paintings or art that you like, that might also help me. I've got a pretty good ability to pick out artists with similar styles. I know recently, I say recently, but about 2 years ago, I was at Dragon Con, and something had been in the back of my head for a long time, and I was I was talking with Justin Gerard. Yeah, I mean that bright yellow. I know what you're talking about. We could do something interesting with that. I like the blast effect too. Like if you had a dragon and it's like that bright yellow was blasting like a warrior, and you couldn't really even see much but his outline, like those old lightning bolt kind of images. That could be cool. Where was I? What was I saying here? Got me addle-brained there. What was I saying right before that? Talking about picking out artists and the type of art you like. Anyway, I can help you with that. If you wanna continue chatting, it might be the time for you to do it, man. I know you've talked about it a while. We could definitely find some interesting people to work with. See what's out there. No, your interjection got me off. I will always have the addled brain. That's just what's going to happen. Well, anyway, like I said, I think that's the end for this Waystone Inn visit. I hope you've enjoyed sharing this painting reveal with me. If you haven't, please like the video. If it's your first time here, subscribe and hit the bell so you can get notifications. And always recommend, if you've got some questions or anything you think of later, throw a comment down. It helps the channel grow, helps people see the channel. And I really want to get this into a chat atmosphere because it's fun. It's a lot of stuff we can talk about and explore together. So with that, I'll see you guys soon. I probably am not going to be on Friday night like I usually am, due to needing to go visit family. But I may try for a Sunday show, or I might be back on to. I actually might be back on tomorrow if things work out. I really want to cover the Heritage auction right now because it's big and it's ending soon. I think it ends in a few days, and the actual online bidding ends in like one day. So I want to make sure that we look at that. And there's also several new Haven Gallery shows and Copro Gallery shows that have some neat pieces in it. So if I can play catch up and get a couple extra shows in, I will. Until then, I will see you, and thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.